Our tradition is that when we light the Hanukkah, the Hanukkah menorah, that we are to light it in a public place. The Talmud says, Lefarsume Nisa, to publicize the miracle of Hanukkah. So what is the miracle of Hanukkah? When we place our Hanukkah in the window, what are we publicizing? What is the miracle of Hanukkah? So the miracle of Hanukkah is that a small band of Jews, so committed to their religion, so committed to their way of life, so committed to God and Torah, that when the Greco-Syrian leaders, Antiochus Epiphanes, was converting the whole part of that world into their pagan religion, and everyone else was going along. And everyone else said, you know what, we'll give up what we've had, and we'll be just like you. There was one group that said, we're not going along. And I want to read to you from the book of the Maccabees. When the king's officers came to the city of Modin, which is where they lived, and there is a city of Modin in Israel today, they said to Mattathias, Judah's father, you are a leader and an honorable and great man in the city. Go and fulfill the king's command, as all the heathens and many peoples have done. Thus you will be numbered among the king's friends, and you and your children will be honored with silver, gold, and other rewards. But Mattathias answered with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and abandon the religion of their ancestors, yet will I and my sons and my people walk in the covenant of our ancestors. God forbid that we should forsake the Torah. So here we have the celebration of the few against the mighty. The few of the Judeans fighting against the mighty Greco-Syrian Empire, and the underdog somehow, after 3 years of intense fighting, comes out victorious. And isn't it the case that everyone always roots for the underdog? Isn't that the case? Huh? Yeah, root for the underdog. So is it the case now that Israel is the Goliath and Hamas is the David? Is that why everybody is hating Israel so much? Because Israel appears to be the big, powerful Goliath. They can do anything. And poor Hamas, it's we have to feel sorry for them. And we have to ask for an immediate ceasefire. Open the picture up a little bit, folks. Know a little bit more about what the story is. Know a little bit more of the story that evidently the students in Harvard and MIT and University of Pennsylvania just don't know. Does the United Nations know that Gaza is to the southwest of Israel? Just north of Israel is a country called Lebanon, which was taken over by Hezbollah. They are avowed enemies of Israel. They have said publicly that their goal is to destroy the state of Israel, as Hamas has said their goal is to destroy the state of Israel. Hezbollah is hundreds of times more powerful than Hamas. They have a storage of missiles and rockets that are exact and could destroy in moments. God forbid, I don't even want to say what they could destroy. And who is the mentor of both Hezbollah and Hamas? They're up here to the northeast. Iran. Have you ever heard the president or the big macher, the Ayatollah of Iran say, we are committed to the destruction of that cancer in the Middle East, of the Zionist enemy? Anybody ever? Yeah, come on. He said it. He said it again and again and again. And they're on the verge of having a nuclear weapon. He said that they are committed to destroying Israel. They're the ones who give Hamas their armaments. They would give them more if they could. Has the United Nations ever held a vote to denounce Iran for what they say? Has there ever been a vote for that? So does that mean that it's okay if they say it? The United Nations has never held a vote saying that you can say, a member of the United Nations can say, we will destroy another member, of the United Nations. And nobody seems to care. Just like nobody seemed to care what happened on October the 7th. Did the United Nations ever come out and make any public statement or any public vote about all of the innocent Israeli men, women, and children, babies who were slaughtered in the most horrific and grotesque ways? Can't even express it in words here because it would overwhelm us just to hear really what the true story was. The world should know how barbaric these individuals are. Okay, let's say there's a ceasefire tomorrow. Let's say there's a ceasefire. Let's say Israel says, okay, folks of the United Nations, even though the United States stood up to the world and vetoed the vote of the Security Council, we'll go along with you because we're such nice guys. And it seems what you want. We'll have a ceasefire tomorrow. So what does that mean? You know what it means? After attacking Israel on October the 7th, slaughtering innocent Israelis, it means that Hamas will have won this war. That's what it means. Hamas will have won this war. They will still be in power. And they have said, what we did that day, we are proud of. That is our resistance to the Zionist pigs. And give us a chance, we'll do it again. And they will. They'll do it again. They will have won the war. But there is so much collateral damage that so many innocent Gazans are being killed. And for that we weep. And for that we mourn. And to think of a Gazan mother crying about the death of her children, her husband, parents, we mourn that. But it wasn't us who put the exact place where we fire the rockets, they fire the rockets, in schools, next to hospitals, in mosques, where their headquarters are inside high-rise buildings where civilians are living. And for years and years and years, Israel has said, we can't do anything about it. We're not going to go into Gaza. We're not going to fight the enemy where there's so many civilians living. But then October 7th happened. And Israel saw that they were vulnerable to this horrific attack. Not only did Israel see they were vulnerable, but Hezbollah saw that they were vulnerable. And Iran saw that they were vulnerable. And you know what they're thinking? If Hamas, who's the weakest of the three of us, can do this, we can catch Israel off guard again. We can achieve our dream of destroying the Zionist enemy. Israel accepts a ceasefire today, and Israel is paving the path for its own destruction. It is an act of suicide. Does anyone want Israel to perform an act of suicide? You bet there are. When all those people are screaming from the river to the sea, which means from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean is to be Palestine, that means the Jews are first driven into the sea. We have to thank our great country and the administration for vetoing this vote in the United Nations Security Council. Just think of this for a moment. What would the area be like? What would that area be like, the Middle East, if the Arab countries surrounding Israel were to make peace with Israel? Just think about it for a moment. Would that be unbelievable? How that could transform the Middle East. How much Israel has to give in so many different ways, medically and technologically, and in terms of water resources that Israel has done for its own country, that they can share that technology with friends, not enemies. Is that something to dream about? Hey, come on, something that's happening. Not only has Egypt and Jordan, have a good time, guys. It's fine. Anybody under 5 is welcome to just leave when you need to. It's okay. Okay. Egypt, Jordan, and the other countries now, United Arab Emirates, and Morocco, and Bahrain are making peace with Israel. Iran doesn't like that. Hezbollah doesn't like that. Hamas hates that. And what's been happening the last few weeks before October 7th? Saudi Arabia, which may be the most spiritually significant country in the Muslim world, because Saudi Arabia houses Mecca and Medina, the two holiest places in the Muslim world. And they're on the verge of establishing peace with Saudi Arabia, establishing peace with Israel, because they know what peace can bring for their kingdom. They know what they can gain from it. And Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran said, we can't let this happen. We can't let this happen. Saudi Arabia is going to have peace with Israel. We have to do something that we can to stop that peace process. And what they did was horrible and barbaric and gruesome. Make no mistake about it. Israel's very survival is dependent on the decimation of Hamas, not the Gazan people. Israel has no claim against the Gazans. Did anybody in 1944 come out and say, the United States and Great Britain and the Soviet Union in that time should have a ceasefire with Germany? People are being killed. People shouldn't be killed. Let's just stop the fighting. So yes, Israel wants peace. Israel prays for peace. But in order for there to be peace, first, Hamas has to be eliminated. So friends, we are in the second day of our holiday of light. Chag HaUrim, the holiday of light, Hanukkah. But for the Jewish world, these are dark days. But as Israel will achieve its goals soon, and the sooner the better, light will grow bright for Israel, the Jewish world, and for the Gazan people. There are voices coming out of Gaza now that are expressing how much they hate Hamas and how horrible Hamas has been to them, the Gazans. You'll hear more and more about this. And hopefully, the day will come. We never thought it would happen with either Egypt or Jordan. Israel and Saudi Arabia will make peace, and other countries will fall in line. So with that, let's turn to the reading of the Torah this morning.